today, and we're going to be talking about some incredible things. And first, I want to just introduce Laura to you. She's an amazing lady, and I am excited to have been getting to know her. But let me ask you a question first. How many of you would like to go from struggle-ville to elegant high ticket offers that convert premium clients and at least 5x your business? Say, I
I do.
would. So, how many of you would also like to be wildly cash flow positive? These are new terms, but have lots of meaning to them. Wildly cash flow positive, while you're also transforming your clients' lives. Give me a wave. Yes. Doesn't that just hit you at your heart? So I am here with Laura Chattington, as I said, and she is from offeracceleratorlive.com. And we're going to be talking today because Laura and her partner, Chrissa, will help you to go from struggleville and to elegantly create offers like we described. And you're going to discover exactly exactly how to convert those premium clients. Doesn't that sound, oh, perfect? That's perfect, right? So you're going to discover the high ticket offer secrets that convert premium clients. You're going to be able to sell high ticket offers without the nasty salesy sales pressure. None of us want that. And why high ticket offers sell and why high ticket offers will stop you wasting your clients' time. None of us want to waste our clients' time, right? None of us. We want to give value. We want to increase and help our clients in the fastest way possible. And that's what you're going to learn. And Chrissa and Laura are two over 45 female entrepreneurs who've been there. And unlike the marketing bros of this world, we're not going to talk about we're not going to talk about shiny marketing, right? Not the shiny marketing objects. We're not going to talk about all of that and everything complicated. So, Lawrence client VIP days, are you ready for this? Are $100,000. And tomorrow, I'm going to be guest speaking at their Masterclass, Offer Accelerator Live. And so we wanted to take a quick minute to catch up and talk about everything that's involved in high ticket offers and also how your email marketing, which is my niche fits so brilliantly together. So I just welcome you, Laura, and all of you. And let me ask you, first of all, what made you get started in this?
Wendy, what an amazing introduction to that question. And it is a match. We're a match made in heaven, aren't we? We literally are. It's like Offer Accelerator and emails and traffic and marketing and things like that. And actually, people always ask me this question. And actually, there's always like a sequence of events that kind of gets you to the point that you're at. And I remember, and I think I was talking to you earlier about, I actually was working in corporate. I've spent lots of years of my life working in corporate, and I was directing sort of big global marketing projects. And I was like pretty awesome at my job, but I was kind of I wasn't getting the buzz, and I didn't enjoy it as much as I did when I started out. and my passion was in communication and influence. I was fascinated by it and helping people get results. That's what people paid me to do. And I had this kind of side hustle, this coaching business where I train people to communicate and present confidently. And I kind of realized that with the clients that I was working with, they were, at some level, they were kind of holding themselves back. They were humans, right? They were holding themselves back, and especially women, actually, who weren't going into their jobs and asking for pay rises and promotions and things like that, right?
Right.
And I would so I ended up sort of designing this system around kind of communication, and I'd take them through the system and I charged them for 10 sessions. Back then, I was like, for 10 sessions, I'm going to help you get promoted and then get a pay rise. And I'm going to help you communicate your way there. And it was awesome. It really, really was awesome. And I remember this one specific client, it was like, there's kind of light bulb moments. There was one specific client and she was earning at the time, it was actually about $150,000. Her package was about $150,000, which is a lot for lots of people. But in her, where she was and in her field, it actually wasn't as much as she should be earning. And she said to me, like, yeah, I hate the idea of asking for more money. I hate it, but I know that I'm worth it and other people are getting paid and all of that. And I said to her, okay, so, I walked her through the system and I got her to go and, go in and she went this and like, she rang me up. It's kind of like over a 2-month period. It was like 10 weeks. It was literally my 10-week system. She rang me up and she was like, hey, you won't believe it. I went in, I followed the script. I got promoted. I got the pay rise. I got a better package. I was like, awesome. And I've jumped 2 pay grades because she was kind of behind, right? So she jumped 2 pay grades, and including her pension, I'm like nearly at 300K.
Oh, let's go.
Let's
Let's go. Let me
yeah.
just interject. How many of you would like to jump to pay? Yeah, how many of you would like that result?
She was worth it, Wendy. I mean, we all do, right? We all want to jump to, more pay grades.
More than that.
Certainly in the corporate world, she, that was massive. And,
Really?
the impact on her life financially was like that 150K a year. But actually, when I thought about it, over kind of like 20 years, if she didn't even get any more increase in salary, that was, I kind of did the math and I was like, $3 million I've just helped her, assuming she's stuck at that salary. And I was like, that is awesome, right? And
let me just put that in perspective. So
go.
Meeting you gained her what she would have lost if she had not met you and worked with you would have cost her $3 million, right?
100%
Mind blown.
100% right. And actually, it's not just that as well, because the results to her personally, she had more belief in it. I mean, she had massive belief. You could see it in her body language, how she was, the status, that kind of uplift in title opened doors for her. She was able to sort of go, I mean, she's gone well past all of that now, right? It was amazing. Do you want to know what I charged her?
Yeah.
I can say that with a smile now. I charged her for that service. For the 10 sessions, I charged her $5,000. $5,000. Now, who here thinks that charging my hourly rate back then, which was $500 an hour, which, to be honest with you, compared with other coaches, a pretty good hourly rate, was like outrageously undercharging what it was worth.
Yes. You were teaching her to recognize her value and, go up level, but you hadn't recognized your value.
And I remember at the time, I wasn't like, I was thrilled for her. I was thrilled for her. And I remember thinking, this is really worth something. This system is really worth something more than what it was. And I kind of kept increasing my fees, right? I kept like ching, 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 ching. And I came across this amazing lady. We both know her a few years ago, called Eileen Wilder. And actually, she taught me and I was kind of on that road anyway. When someone pops up in your life and you're like, yes, that is just what I needed to hear right now. She taught me one of the most valuable lessons that I learned for business, and that is your fees. Your fees should reflect the results that you get for your clients.
Right. Amen. Amen.
Yeah. Amen. So not charging for, sorry.
Are you leading into sharing your system? Because I'm curious what this system is. And I'm sure everybody would love to know what your system is that has these kind of results.
Yeah. And, and I think it's important to 100%, I'm going to share the system. I think it's important to just like that shift. If you do nothing else in your business, but focus on that shift, that you can charge for the result that you get people. And actually, it isn't necessarily just a financial one all the time. Some people don't, there are lots of ways that you can value what you do. That shift is really how, it's the first step to getting to high ticket, right? Just making that switch.
Yes. Well, you think of non-monetary things where perhaps a relationship coach helps you find your one true love, and you get married and have kids, and that's what the value of that is, just inestimable. And even what you talked about, the confidence that she had, these things have a ripple effect in all of your life, and that affects your relationships. It affects, and think of doubling your income, but that's the monetary side of it. But it isn't always monetary. It sometimes is monetary, but that affects so many other things.
Now, you asked me about the system, and I want to tell you another quick story, because in fact we were talking about this earlier. And another question, how many of you have ever bought a course or a book, but you've never read it? Yeah. I've got stacks of books.
Too many times.
I'm going to read, right? Or even clothing. I always think, how many of you ever bought clothing that maybe you haven't even got the labels off? I remember, Wendy, and I was hinting at this earlier today, is like a gazillion years ago, which was a very long time ago, I went to a conference, and it was in the US. I used to fly over to the US, and I think it was either in Atlanta or it was in Dallas. And it was a 3-day conference, and it was a Dan Kennedy event. And it was back, if anyone remembers, when Dan Kennedy and Bill Glazer did these massive events. They were awesome. And actually Frank Kern was there too. And I was like, totally blown away. I'd been on the plane, I got there, I was just like, ah. And I literally bought everything, right? I bought everything. I bought a course on setting up my own custom TV channel. Now, this was before YouTube and like social media, so you needed producers, and I bought that. I bought something on copywriting secrets. I bought a course on scaling your business to $250 million. And back then I hadn't even got to $1 million. But I bought a course on how to scale to 250. I bought courses on marketing funnels. I bought a course on managing difficult employees.
Yeah.
I didn't even have an employee. But I bought a course on it because I was like, yes. And you know, when you're like running to the back of the room at every
Right.
speaker, and you're just like, and when I was like, I got her. And again, that was back when they gave you like chunks of CDs in packs and stuff like that. And I remember getting back to my home, and I was like buzzing. I was like, yeah. And I remember trying to explain to my partner at the time, like, what everything was. And he was like, okay, I kind of sounds like makes some kind of sense. And I was like, yeah, don't worry. 2 weeks later, I was like buzzing. 3 weeks later, I was like totally lost, because I had all these marketing systems, all this complexity, all this stuff. I had, abandoned cart sequences, no call sequences, e-commerce chat, blah, 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 all this stuff. But I just didn't need it at the time. And it just kind of it overwhelmed me. It made me feel guilty. And I was totally focused on the wrong thing. Mm-hmm. And I was playing that game that I don't think I've ever spoken to an entrepreneur who hasn't played this part at some point in their life, which is that game of overwhelm, right? The overwhelm game. Mm-hmm. And I was playing the money slow game as well. Mm-hmm. And it's like, what I needed was I needed a simple system. I needed a simple system that gets you results, right? Because like simple scales.
Yeah, and, absolutely.
Yeah. And you say this to any, they're like, yeah, I totally get it. I totally get it. And that's kind of why, high ticket offers are so efficient, because, having them in your system, because it's very simple to scale up. Mm-hmm. So that's why we put the high, that was kind of the beginning of why we kind of iterated through and put this sort of the high ticket offer accelerator system together. So actually the steps, which is those simple steps that actually what you need in your business, is number one is the high ticket offer. So creating that irresistible high ticket offer that is going to convert those premium clients. And that's, and how to design that, how to work out how to do that. Number two is because once you've got that offer, you need to be able to sell that offer and pitch that offer. And another thing we noticed, or certainly with the people that we've worked with along the way, is people can feel like awkward and uncomfortable about that. So step two is about having an authentic, non-salesy pitch, right? So that you don't feel like this sort of awkward, sleazy salesperson. It actually feels like you're inviting your best friend round to have a good time. Yeah.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. And I just want to say, for you listening and watching, Laura has taken all of the things that she has become a pro at, and now she's helping you completely step past and get past all the mistakes that she made that will hold you back, all the things that she knows how to do without having to go through the years that she went through and the mistakes that she made. But, we complement each other great because, she has that, have you ever heard she could sell ice cubes to an Eskimo kind of? But it's a relationship building, isn't it, Laura?
Connection.
It's all about connection and the word authentic.
Yeah.
I caught that right away, because that's one of the things that I am so passionate about, is to be you. That's one of my core elements of what everything I do, is just encouraging you to be you, and
Mm,
that you do have a secret sauce. You do have things you can do so well. But, I'm so glad to hear this system,
mm,
and I agree with the things that you are doing so much. But I want
mm.
to ask you then, and you can finish if you weren't done, but what holds people back?
Yeah, and again, just to comment on what you said, sales like selling. I like selling because I believe that it's about finding connection with people. It's about serving people. It's about,
Right.
it's about relationships. Whether you're an Eskimo or an American or a Londoner, it doesn't matter. But I understand very much, because I've trained lots of people in it, that people find it really challenging. And you picked
But
up
what
on
you
that. 'Cause,
but
go
what
on.
you said is is also what I've learned, and I think it all starts up here, right?
Mm,
And
mm,
so we've maybe heard many wrong we've heard lies about selling.
mm,
We've maybe met people who were, salesy and turned us off.
mm,
But at its core, when you are confident in what you are offering,
mm.
and how good. I mean, example, the person you just shared, would she feel after she just doubled her income, would she be, oh boy,
Mm,
I just don't like this at all, or, you know, would she be just so, so grateful?
yeah, and it's also I mean, we could talk for hours on this, in this, each of these steps, and we go into much more detail in the masterclass. But it's also, it's enabling people, isn't it? It's empowering people to
Yes.
go in. You're using your skill set, and as you said, all the experience that I've had over the last 20 years or whatever, it's having the ability to pull out those like key things that actually really matter. And that's why I sort of give the
So good.
example of the Dan Kennedy of the everything I bought, I'm sure, did exactly what they said it was going to do. There's no disrespect to anyone, any of those things,
Mhm.
but it's about doing the right things at the right time, and
Mhm.
hiring coaches, consultants, whoever it is that you need to get you to the
Mhm.
result. So I think
So good. So good.
that really is, and it's all important. And I think, just to finish off the third step, which is kind of where you and I connected, is that ability to sell and scale, right? So being able to simply sell and scale what you've got. And when we spoke, one of the options to do that, which, I mean, again, we can talk at length about, is how important it is to be able to build that email list, no matter how you sell and scale. But like,
Mhm.
the underlying backbone, I think I would call it, the underlying backbone of all businesses is the list. So
So true.
yeah,
Well, let me just say, we will be, mentioning this again, but there's a master class coming up. Maybe we can share that link with that for
yeah,
that, where you can go deeper with all of, this information, and get a deeper look perspective on that.
yeah.
Um, so I don't know if we have a place where we can put it in, but how
That
about
would
if you just,
require me to multitask,
yeah.
and
So maybe if you
but we
just
would definitely
tell,
put it in, so that the way to get to sign up to reserve your place at the masterclass is www.offeracceleratorlive.com, and we will put the links in after we've worked out how to do one thing in a sequential time when it
yes,
comes to tech, as
offer
tech.
accelerated. Let me just repeat that.
Yeah,
HTTPS colon slash slash www dot offer accelerator, And
Yeah.
that can be hard to spell.
Yeah.
Accelerator, live.com. And yes, we will include that, but you'll be able to sign up for that when you go there. And I encourage you to jump in, go to the VIP, get the VIP ticket,
Mm,
where you will be able to ask your questions and get answers in real time.
mm,
And Laura and Chrissa and myself will all be in there. But it's going to be so amazing. And back to the email list,
yeah.
we talk about it's really foundational. And I always liken it to building a house, which I have not actually done. But I know that the premise,
Mm,
the principle is if you don't have a good foundation, the house is really it's in danger.
mm,
And I'm a Bible believer here, and the Bible talks about the rains and the storm coming, and if you have not built your house properly, it's going to get washed away. And the email list is so foundational.
mm.
And so that's, yeah, very, very true. And um, I'm going to be talking, I will be sharing on that more tomorrow as well.
Yeah. And I again, I mean, I believe that very, very, having had that experience as well. And I think, again, just trying to keep things simple. It's like, what are the kind of core 20% that you need to do when you're selling your offer and you're scaling your offer? And that is, as you say, that's the foundation of the house, right? I have
Yeah.
had a house built, and I know that if you don't have the foundations in there, everything else is going to, fall over. And we get caught up, don't we? We get caught up in all the other stuff. And it's about
Mhm.
making sure that you're doing the
Yeah.
right things. So,
And it
um,
isn't that hard. That's why, I feel like, hey, I would love to share with you how simple it can be.
yeah, well, you're going to be going through that in the masterclass tomorrow, thankfully. So you're going to be
Yeah.
there, the masterclass, and you're going to be giving a huge amount of insight into that. And I know that you're like a genius at it, aren't you, Wendy? You're not even like, there are lots of people out there doing that kind of thing. But again, the difference between what you offer and all those other sort of marketing people is that connection piece. And that's so important, the connection and the relationship and how you
It's
build
why
that
we
link.
work so well together
Yeah,
too, because it's
exactly.
at the core. Y- We believe in authenticity.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
believe that connection will help you to serve your clients better.
Mm, mm,
And when you are really caring, we really care.
yeah.
And so often, you go out there and you find that people really don't care,
Mm,
or they're not who they present out
mm,
there, in front of you. So, yeah, it's just it's so important
yeah.
to have that connection, that but simple steps, someone to hold your hand, to help you. And you have done that, the example you shared with the woman who was now making twice as much,
Mm,
you have those skills.
mm,
And I have been able to achieve the skills to really know how to scale an email list. And um, I talked about my 37% open rate, and
mm.
that's like, and if you don't know, that's about twice what the industry average is.
Mm,
But then, I've also just thought, I'm going to try this again with a different audience,
mm,
and entrepreneurs and small business owners, and I'm going to grow a list for them, and specifically, and can I share, my results this week? Because I sent an email this week.
Can I just before you share your amazing stat, Wendy, just for people watching. So what was the stat? 37? Did you say 36?
37% is my
37%.
overall with
Right.
12,000,
So if you don't
subscribers.
know about email open rates and all of that stuff, 30%, Wendy has been quite generous by saying that's double what the average. I would say that's probably more than double what the average is. And if I was running an email marketing campaign to a list of some size and getting 10%, I would think I was doing okay. I wasn't doing great, but I would continue doing what I was doing. So you were like really high, double the average at that
And
point.
let's put that in perspective. I want to put it in perspective because the first step in email marketing, you can write the most fabulous emails.
Mm,
You can have fabulous, things linked to within them. You can just, be sending them all the time if your subscriber doesn't open them.
mm. Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter at
Yeah,
all.
yeah.
So the first thing is how many are opening it.
Mm,
And so that's, but again, for me, it's really about relationship, and Laura, that you've been talking about that so much, and we have a heart to serve the client and help you serve your clients
it's like forward.
so much
Yeah.
better, so much higher level. So yeah,
And I
so
did
good.
interrupt you. I did interrupt you, Wendy, because I'm like, I
Oh,
just wanted
well,
to make the point of actually that 30%. If someone said to me they've got 37% open rates on their emails, I'd be like, wow, that's pretty awesome.
and
And for you
to get
now,
used
it's
you
like, so go
and
on.
I want to say to you listening that you might not know what your value is.
Mm,
And Laura and Chrissa are so able to help you create an offer. This is a skill. This is a
mm,
fabulous skill. They can help you know what your value is and what your offer should be. And that's just amazing. Well, I didn't know that I had anything that was, really that much of value with this email list,
mm, mm.
and 37% open rate. I didn't realize.
So
And
come on, what was it? That if
so
that's your
then,
baseline, yeah.
drum roll. Well, so this week I sent an email to that, I'm growing this for entrepreneurs and small business owners email segment, and you can do that too. You learn how to segment and have specific so that they want what you are talking about. And they definitely wanted it. I sent an email this week and it got, drum roll, 73% open rate. And I honestly have never heard of anybody getting that before. So
That's
I
like,
I just,
yeah,
I was just blown away.
that's massive. That
So,
and
and
go on, sorry, I keep interrupting you.
well, it's just, then that you've hit
Spot.
what
Yeah,
they want.
yeah, 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 yeah,
And
yeah,
so then, you're someone who they know, like, and trust. They're opening your email right away.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, now when you can ask them questions about what they want. You can find out what they're struggling with. They'll interact with you with an
Mm-hmm.
email, in an email.
Mm-hmm.
And then you they'll tell you exactly what they want and you give it to them.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just such a natural, I think of it, you and I, even as a nice dance, it's choreography because it's just, and nobody feels like, "Oh, no, you're selling," no.
Mm-hmm.
You're giving them what they just said they want.
Yeah, 100%. And actually, you asked me what, what kind of resistance people have and what holds them back. And I think that's a really good sort of segue into that, because your open rates are super high. And as I said, if I was getting 20%, I'd be like, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool, right? But I think a lot of people have resistance from, one of the struggles they have is resistance with selling high ticket, having high ticket offers, and thinking, do people really want this? And what's the evidence? And how, and when you think about all the challenges that you have, and you think about all the investment that you spent, the time when I helped that client go into that meeting and ask for her promotion, it hadn't taken me 5 minutes to work it out, right? It taken me 20 years to know exactly what to say in that meeting, right? So when you kind of think like, what is my value? What is my value? How much time have I invested in learning what I know? How many conferences have I been to? How many books have I read? How many certifications have I got? How much money have I invested in getting this skill and getting this value that people want? How many results have I got for people? How many clients have I worked with? How much study have I done? How many people how many conferences have I flown to America and watched people speaking? Charging high ticket is really connecting with that value, right?
Yeah.
The value that you have in your heart, in yourself, in all the experience that you have, and the way that you can put that into a system that really simplifies it down for people so they can get the results that, to get to that result faster and easier and guided by you. That's the value. That's the value of high ticket.
Oh, amen. Yes. So good. So good. And yes,
Go on.
absolutely. Well, that's super, super good. And I'm going to just mention the offer, acceleratorlive.com web link again, www.offeracceleratorlive.com, where tomorrow, and we didn't talk about the time, at 11:30 Central, my time, but UK time.
So it's UK 5 for the general admission. It's UK. I can do it backwards because I'm in the UK. So general admission is at 5:30 UK London time, and then that's 12:30 Eastern and 9:30 West Coast
Pacific. Yeah.
Pacific. But the
Then the
VIP session
VIP,
is the hour earlier, right?
yes, the VIP gives you an extra hour with like private, in the room.
Yeah.
This is another, she talked about going to conferences, and I too, I have invested in high ticket coaching, and I too have spent 15 years in the online space to learn all the things that we have this, wealth, probably 35 or 40 years of experience between us, and I've learned, and I know you have too, that you need to put yourself in the room with people who have already gone before. They've already done it, and they know how. I was told a story, this a week or so ago, about a man was, thinking about climbing Mount Everest, and he had, a book on how to do it that he had purchased, and he was saying, well, do you know how high Mount Everest is? And it's, we were guessing, it's 29,000 feet. Well, a plane flies at about pretty
High,
close to that,
right?
30,000,
Yeah.
and he was reading the book, and he's, getting all the information, and he said, well, how many of you would say I was wise if, after reading this book and all the information is there, if I went out and climbed, Mount Everest? And of course, none of us think that that is wise. Well, then, he was talking about the fact that when you want to do something big, especially, as we're talking about this, to get in the room with someone who has done it successfully. And then the circle that you're putting yourself in, your companions, and I can attest to this so much. When I put myself into a room of people who were high level,
Mhm.
who were doing the thing and scaling and they were go-getters. They were people who were getting it done and doing the thing, and they were really accomplishing this. It just raises your belief in yourself, in the, yeah, I can do this. And
Yeah,
it gives you not just the information, but then you are able to implement with the proper
with the
coaching.
guide. Yeah. Yeah, it's such a good analogy actually, because there are lots of people, and I like you, we didn't get here by mistake. It wasn't luck. We didn't read a book and like, oh, jing. We were in the right room. You're right. You invest in
Yeah.
yourself. You're in the right room, and I think that the mountain analogy, you'd never go up a mountain based on a book, right? And by not investing in coaching and training and being in the room with other people, who it just takes you up the next level. And if
Mhm.
I could give myself advice when I was sort of starting out in my 20s, if I could give myself advice, and you kind of do things when you're ready to do things, but I'd be like, as soon as you can get in a room with people who have done what you've done,
Mhm.
who have, had the experience to do that, the sooner you can get in that room, no matter how much it costs, get in the
Mhm.
room with them, because that is going to
Absolutely.
save you time, effort, money, and emotion. And on the way, you're going to build so much momentum. I'm a huge
Mhm.
believer in momentum.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely.
and so,
Yeah, that reminds me of another story, if I may. Can I
go,
can I
go,
tell another story here?
go for it, go for it.
So we were talking about our mentor, mutual mentor, Eileen Wilder, and her husband, Harrison Wilder. One of the things that is such an inspiration to me, and one of my whys, is I want to build my business and make a lot of money because I want to help
Mm,
others. And so they have, a nonprofit that they are able, a foundation, they are able to help people. And so they were giving us an opportunity to partner with them to help some
mm,
children in Beirut, Lebanon. And the situation, they're in a school, and the electrical is not like the US, and it's not stable. And they just have so many issues because the wiring and the wiring needs to be redone. Well, Harrison said he found out that it would cost $55,000 to totally rewire. But get this, by doing that, they were going to save about $1,500 to $2,000 a month
mm.
from then
Yeah,
on electricity. So many of us get hung up with the, oh my goodness, I could never spend $55,000, that's just crazy. But when you focus on what you're going to save
mm,
or what you're going to make back,
yeah,
and how long is it going to take you, you know, how long is it going to take you to make back that money?
yeah,
And then the frustration that you're not going to have, and so many other things.
yeah,
And then your brain, instead of saying, well, you know, you think negatively, no, I could never. Instead of thinking that way, you say, how could, how could I
I do that.
get that?
Yeah.
And your mind starts to solve, your mind is made to automatically start solving the problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, so it'll start noticing ways that you can achieve that. And
And
I just thought that was such a great
it
analogy.
is a really good example. And I was going to say that, the great thing about having a high ticket offer is that you have the ability to get the investment back really fast. I mean, it
Yes.
does. And we're going to go in the masterclass tomorrow. We're going to go into there are so many reasons to, have a high ticket offer and share that with your clients that are financial, emotional, and from the heart driven reasons. And I think it gives you so much freedom, and it gives your clients so much value on so many different
Mhm.
levels. And I think that's
Mhm.
that's what I kind of got
Yes.
hooked on. I think that connection and just what it enables for you, for your business, for your clients, for everyone around you. I mean, it's just awesome. And we could, I think, Wendy, we could be telling stories all night, couldn't
All
we?
night, all night. And I know we've talked now, I think about 45 minutes.
Yeah.
So, but it's been so great. I love talking to you, and
Likewise.
yeah, and I love hearing your stories as well. And just admire your skills so much. So
Thank you.
I'm thrilled to be working alongside you, and so excited about the masterclass, the Offer Accelerator Live masterclass
Yeah.
tomorrow. And again, it will be at 9:30. Well, first we'll say the general admission
Yeah.
is 9:30 Pacific, 10:30 Central. I'm sorry, 11:30 Central, 11:30 Central, 12:30 Eastern, and
5:30
5:30
London. Yeah.
London. And then we encourage you to get in the VIP room, which
Mm.
is going to be gold. I know it's going to be just fabulous. And that's 1 hour earlier than that. But you can find all the information at www.offeracceleratorlive.com. So
Awesome.
thank you. Did you have any closing thoughts that
No,
you
I
want to
think just,
share?
yeah, let's see you tomorrow. There's going to be so much more stuff from us, from Chrissa, my partner, from Wendy. We're going to be sharing lots of things. It's going to be amazing. As Wendy says, get in the VIP room. It's like that. These things create momentum. They have a snowball effect on you personally and emotionally in your business. Get in the VIP room, and really look forward to seeing everyone tomorrow. www.offeracceleratorlive.com, and we'll see you there.
Great. Thank you